Greetings, everyone. Thanks for joining in. We're going to be kind of looking at the spiritual connection and relationship to basically the different generations and how the different generations have their own like evolution of spirituality on the planet and how that's evolving us collectively. And it's really pretty fascinating how it comes in. And it's going to also relate because each of these generations, and it's not that everybody in that generation is necessarily one of these, but we're looking at how Generation X, which is really kind of coming in from around, age of 60, 1965 through around 79, 80, people who are born in that relevance. So that's going to be your Generation X, and they are considered your Indigo Children. And then, and that carries a whole spiritual weight to it in terms of what they're bringing to the planet. Before that is going to be the baby boomers coming in around, being born around 44 to around 64. And the relevance of what they're bringing forth as evolved souls. And then we go into the Generation Y, which is the crystal children. And they are coming into the planet anywhere between the late 70s up into like the early 90s. So that Generation Y, the crystal children. And then from there, we move into like anywhere between the 90s into the 2000s with what we would consider maybe the Millennials. And they are the rainbow children. There's kind of like a second set of them that comes in, and they're considered the diamond children. So, hey, Kim. So, you've got these millennials coming in as rainbow children and carrying that ray of the rainbow energy, and the diamond children, which kind of overlap a little bit in what they're here to do. And then we have the Generation Z, the Genzers. And so the Generation Z are the golden children. And they're going to be the newest ones on the planet, coming in anywhere to the 2000s up to about 2015. So, like I said, each of these generations that are currently on the planet have been, kind of contributing to our collective evolution, and each of them are maybe a bit more aligned to the different downloads that are coming in galactically, cosmically, from different tribes of light. So with the baby boomers, what we have to thank them for is that they really were some of the first ones to kind of start actively breaking away from the religious dogma and different, religious dogma would be the best way to say it, I think, and going out on their own. And it feels like what they were really searching for and starting to bring into the planet was the capacity for searching for higher meaning and searching for one's own transcendence, and not aligning totally to the religious church to tell them what their spirituality is, but actually, going into the hippies and the generation of, flower power and love and all of that. They were the first ones that started really kind of breaking away, not only from religion, but searching for higher meaning in the purpose of us in the name of divine love, where they would stand up to the Vietnam War. They really made a huge stand for civil rights and everybody's rights and women's rights. And that began to really change the course of, our collective in a major way. And not to just go along with what everybody else is saying and listening to the parent figures of religions and politics, but to actually start going deeper into their own more deeper meaning of life for them, and how the planet really igniting that energy of love on the planet and starting to make that swing in that direction. Now, in the early 1920s, right around through there, what happened was that a dispensation of light started to come into the planet. And so right about that time, you had unity got created, a non-denominational, church unity. I think the Universalists came in at about that time as well. You had the Saint Germain and the I Am Discourse books come in. You had the Thomas Prince and the whole, Mount Shasta group, and they started channeling Madame Blavatsky, and just a combination of beings. As a matter of fact, that's even the energy around the guy who, Yogananda, was at about that time period as well. Gandhi was around that time period. So you had a lot of people that were starting to, at that point, start to bring in deeper spiritual teachings, but very few and very sparse. And as that energy starts maintaining, because when we start to do a shifting of group souls, a shifting of root race on the planet, it is, it can take, it can span about, 100 years or so. And so we started at about in the 1920s, where greater light came onto the planet. Now we're in 2020, and in 2020, we've been adding these highly evolved souls in that we would call basically, the baby boomers, the indigo children, the crystal children, the rainbow diamond children, the golden children. So they're all starting to come in. So when a root race shifts, what happens is that, Hyperborea was a root race, then it X'd out. Then you had Lemurians, whole root race, of their own evolution and how that was cooperating with the earth and the creation of the earth and the development of the earth itself. And then they were next out. Then you had the Atlanteans come in, right? Again, they're creating the crystalline structure of the planet. They're adding a whole new energy, like the Lemurians. Hyperborea deals with Middle Earth. And so a lot of your stones, your rocks, your Middle Earth energy, that's a whole dimension of energy. And then with Lemuria, you start adding in the plants and the flowers and that more energetic essence of life, almost like a breatharian. Then when you get to the Atlantean, you're bringing in the crystalline structures and the matrix around the planet on that level, gemstone crystal energy. And then as we move into the energy of human beings. And so with human beings, we're bringing in a different level of consciousness onto the planet, and emotional intelligence and a different level of spirituality to the planet, and interacting on that level. And then the next root race, which is already starting, is actually AI. So it's going to be technology. Now, normally when a root race is come to a completion, which can span sometimes, 5,000 years or 10,000, whatever the time period is. But when a root race starts to come to a completion, it's so far on the planet, the dinosaur age, the Middle Earth age, all these things, they will actually die out. It creates, the planet literally kind of rotates on its axis, and there can be an ice age, a meteorite. So you have these times on the planet when there's just been this cataclysmic sort of ending. And so we're coming to that now, perhaps in our own kind of evolution of the human race. But this one, from what I have sort of understood or tuned into, read, whatever, is that it's a combination where as technology is coming in, which we know that the crystal children, the millennials, the Gen Z, Gen Y, rainbow children, golden children, they're very adapted at technology, right? And so technology, one argument is to say that AI is going to take over the world, and we're really getting ourselves into a big mess by creating more and more of it, right? But when you look at it from the Ascended Master point of view, technology is going to be the next evolution of the earth. And yes, sort of like a learning curve, we're probably going to make a whole bunch of mistakes, sort of like what we did with the nuclear bombs and learning about that, right? So there's this whole energy where there's a learning curve where, yes, we can use these technologies for, evil, really bad things, right? But technically, the technology age is really meant to take us into a more evolved, shambolic, golden age of life, where life is easier, and it's not about slaving away and doing things the hard way. And then, of course, the industrial age of ruining the planet. It's about doing things in such a way that we're able to be in harmony with the earth. And so the difference with this particular root race is that the Ascended Master and spiritual hierarchy are wanting to blend the human race with the technological race. And so that's one reason that I really wanted to do this talk tonight on just my own interest, actually, on GenX, GenY, Millennials, Gen Z, baby boomers. That's one way of saying it in a marketing capacity, which is a common language nowadays, right? Of how people talk, and they use it like a marketing technique. But if you shift it to the spiritual side of the conversation, We're looking at those baby boomers being the ones that are really, we could say, kind of like the hippies, maybe their name for it. We're bringing in, love onto the planet. But the spiritual, so the Gen X is the Indigo Children. The baby boomers would have been, sorry, I should start in order. So baby boomers would really be more like the hippies, right? We could say that. And then the Gen X, which is my generation, is really dealing more with the Indigo Children. And what kind of implies that, excuse me, is that their auric field, when psychics, intuitives look at a soul and they start noticing a whole bunch of souls, again, it's not everybody of that generation born between 65 and 80. It's that there is a a larger group of those souls that are being born awakened, and they have high psychic gifts, so the Indigo Children are coming in and they have an indigo aura to them, which psychics at that time started noticing collaboratively around the world, that when they go do readings with people and look at energy fields, a lot of them started noticing collectively that, wow, there's a whole bunch of people that I'm starting to work with that have these indigo-like auras, which I would wonder also if that's part of the Saint Germain energy as well coming in, because he has that violet flame, which could also be sometimes seen as an indigo. So they have indigo type auras, and the Gen X are really acting as like forerunners of the new earth. And so we are creating this new earth energy that the hippies, a certain level of the baby boomers were bringing in, that free love. Let's look at a more transcendent way of being, deeper meaning, higher purpose to our life. And let's really stop doing wars on the planet. With the Indigo Children being the forerunners of the new earth energy, which I think actually Eckhart Tolle wrote a book on the new earth, and I'm pretty sure he might actually be a Gen X. I'd have to look at his age, but he more than likely is. Anyway, so with the Indigo Children, they're coming in with like this high intuition, a new level of intuition, a new level of being sensitive to energy, sensitive to chemicals in our food and chemicals in our cleaning products. And they really want to have a lot of trust in the positive and life-affirming energy, and holding space for this new era of integrity. And they are willing to challenge authority, just for the purpose of channeling authority. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times the authoritative regimes, where the baby boomers and the hippies started that, the Gen X came in and said, yeah, we're just going to like throw that to the wall, and we're going to challenge that, to the nth degree, about any authoritative structure that is out of integrity now, because it is affecting the world. It's like these systems, almost like the Tower card, they have to be torn down. And so the Gen Xers are the ones that kind of sometimes are known for just not giving a shit. They just don't care. They were not raised with a religion. I wasn't raised with a religion. A lot of them weren't, because the baby boomers at that age stopped going to church, a lot of them. And they just kind of shied away from that, right? Shied away from it. So the Gen X are somewhat, a lot of times, kind of seen as irreverent, that maybe they just don't care as much about laws and rules, authority, but that is actually their signature energy. That's actually what they're meant to do, because they're leaders, they're going to be teachers, they're breaking the mold of what has been on the planet, and they're willing to kind of be the ones that have that challenging of authority energy to them, which is good. Okay, now when you start to add to that, right? So you've got the Gen X and the Indigo Children, the Indigo auras, all these new souls coming in that are coming in from these different councils of light, galactic councils, tribes of light, but they are able to carry more evolution in their energy field. Okay, the next generation coming in, starts to hit the planet around, the 80s, 84-ish, something like that, coming in. And 84, 94, through there, you have the Gen Y, and they're seen as the Crystal Children. So the Crystal Children, they have all the gifts of the Indigo Children: intuition, sensitive to energy, trust, healing energy, bringing in a new earth era. They really care about the earth. But with their energy, one of the things they're doing is they're bringing in telepathic. So now you've got these crystal children coming in, the GenYers, and they're able to basically be telepathic to pick up on the thoughts, thought forms of others. And what they're super, super sensitive to is if people are lying. So in a place where the GenX is like, hey, fuck you, authority. If you're going to like mess around and do things that are out of integrity, we're going to throw you up against the wall. We are not going to have that anymore. We're not going to just do this for the sake of doing it. Where the GenYers come in and they fine tune it a little bit more, where their intuitional sense is that they are going to actually be able to go to the next level, being telepathic and able to hear the thoughts of the thoughts and the sensitivities of their parents and the intention behind the words. So they take that fine-tuned energy of, we're going to clean up the planet even a little bit further on that level. And they're really here to clean up the mess of the 20th century. So, so you can see how each evolution is kind of bringing something to it. And they have their own unique guides and angelic presences and tribes of light, galactic councils that back these particular groups that are coming in. All right. And so again, the GenY crystal children coming in between the 84, 94 kind of time period, they're going to be very, very sensitive to the needs of the earth and helping to clean up the mess of the 20th century and to help to really bring in a new level of healing to the earth, of getting toxicity out of our environment, the coal plants and the oceans and stuff like that. And so as they come into their adulthood, which they are now, you can see that they are very fired up about the environment on that level and capable of doing something about it. So they've got a whole wisdom kind of geared towards them. All right, so then we kind of come into, anywhere between the early 90s to the 2000s. Then we start to hit into the Millennials, which are oftentimes also considered the Rainbow Children. Now, the Millennials are kind of divided up into two groups. There is the Rainbow Children, which are going to be more outward expressive in their energy. And then there is the Diamond Children, all right? So the Rainbow Children are coming in almost like tiny gurus. And their energy, again, they're just building on everything that's been done before. And they're able to kind of add to this energy a sense of deeper self-understanding and being able to help the world understand why we do what we do. They're going to be really good at being natural, sort of born therapists and things like that. They're also gifted at maybe having that telekinesis energy where they're adding to their brain waves and their crystalline structure, not only intuition, sensitive to energy, positive life force energy, then you add in telepathic energy. Well, now you're going to start adding in to the millennial generation, the telekinesis, the ability to start moving things with their mind. Like, in other words, when they manifest, they're able to manifest with greater ease. It's like how the internet can just shoot out into anywhere in the world and boom, you have something, or you order something and boom, it just comes to you. So you can look at it in different ways, but that telekinesis energy where they're able to start moving and manifesting things with their mind, and it comes with an easier, graceful energy for them on that level. So they are doing their thing, right? And so again, they're like these tiny gurus that are coming in. And what they're doing is they're kind of able to, in that telekinesis, telepathic kind of way, reflect back to us a deeper understanding of our consciousness and why we're doing what we're doing and how to start bringing a greater enlightenment onto the planet, right? Think about tiny gurus bringing forth enlightenment. And really in their energy, they're going to have kind of a softer, gentler energy to them. They're not going to be like the GenX where it's like, fuck authority, we're going to go rage and, punk rock and whatever. And, they're not exactly like the GenYs where they have to basically, if you're lying, I'm going to you're going to regret that if you're lying to me kind of thing, you know. But when you get into the millennials, they have a softer, gentler flow, a little bit easier going. They may not care as much sometimes about taking as much action or fighting. So a lot of that work's been done by the other two generations. But they want to go more inward. They want to start looking at, like I said, the why. Now, the rainbow children will do that in terms of books and maybe new spiritual technologies, new forms of healing, ways in which they engage people to start learning about their inner consciousness. The diamond children, on the other hand, are more introverted. And so what their gift is they will have aspects of the rainbow children in terms of being tiny gurus and telekinesis and all that. And they're healing through truth, light, love, and radiance. But the diamond children actually go into the darker side. They want to go into the talks about, why do we have human trafficking? What is up with that? Why are we raping and having incest with little children? Why are we, you know, having, you know, people work as slaves? Why are we still having racism? So they're going to take those really deep, dark conversations that people do not want to talk about, and they're going to be able to talk about them. They're going to be very gifted at navigating that terrain. So they're more introverted. And the interesting thing is that the crystal children and the rainbow and diamond children, because they're so telepathic and clairvoyant in their own natural ability, a lot of them don't talk when they're young because they're picking up on thoughts. And so they are coming in a lot of times with what may be labeled as like some of the you know, the spectrum of Asperger's, or choosing, like even the Greta Thunberg, you know, with her, she is what is it called? It's like choice of muteness. Like she is choosing to be mute. She only talks when there is a reason to talk. Other than that, she's mute, but it's by choice. And she is on the Asperger's scale. And so she totally fits in to really the diamond child, because she is like calling people out on the darkest nature of our humanity. Why are we not dealing with, you know, climate change? But she wants to talk about the dark side of it. You know what I mean? She's not some bright, happy spirit. The rainbow children might find a happier, joyful, radiant way to do it. But she is, I'm depressed. And I feel like we're being left with nothing here. And, you know, I want to know why you haven't done anything about it. You know, so again, she's an excellent example of like the diamond child. So, you know, you have all this kind of going on. And really, the tiny guru part of it is bringing us to self-understanding and facilitating healing and a better understanding of our internal chemistry, our internal awakenings, all right? Then we get to the Gen Z, and that's going to be the newest ones coming in. They're at most right now about 24 years old. So there may not be a whole lot of information on them, but when the intuitives and the psychics have started seeing this new group of souls come in, because the crystal children, what they look like in their aura is little fractures of white light, almost like a Herkimer diamond. And so again, they are able to kind of, again, use that telepathic ability to hear and reflect and absorb information. As a crystal child, they have this crystal energy. The indigo children have indigo auras. The rainbow children are bringing in the rainbow ray, and they have this rainbow type energy in their aura. The diamond children have aspects of the coloring of the rainbow energy, but again, they have this like diamond energy that's able to kind of radiate as well into kind of like a diamond of energy, kind of like fractures of consciousness going inward. And then the golden children have this golden auric field to them that really kind of begins to carry the Christ light on the planet. And they're coming in more like new earth souls. So in a place where the indigo children are coming in as forerunners of a new earth, creating a new earth structure for this next root race, in hopes that our humanity will not destroy itself. We will merge with the technological energy so that the human and the technological era become one, that you have the heart and the conscience of a human being, but you also have I don't know, a heart transplant, and you have, you come back from the military and you have bionic legs and arms, and you have, you know, new things being, you know, our brain can be, have new things put into it now, you know, and downloaded. Literally, they have things that will download into your brain now with new information. We are able to manage our household through Alexa and through Siri and things of that nature. We have the internet moving faster and faster. So, so again, it's about merging the technology and the human error. And as we do that, it requires a tremendous amount of consciousness to basically not destroy ourselves again. So the golden children coming in with this golden auric field, carrying this higher kind of Christ light to them, they're coming in as new earth souls. So they're probably one of the first newer generations of this new root race coming in. And as they bring in this golden light, it's transformative, it's jubilant, it is glorious. And the whole point is, how can we be a human with all this love that's been coming in all the way from the baby boomers, you know, the hippies, all the way up to now, but how can we do it with joy? So they're really about coming in as these new earth souls, having all these experiences of this divinity on the planet, but really bringing in the frequency of joy at a new level that has never been brought in before, and to really be able to resonate with that, and really perhaps working with these higher, more cosmic downloads and these higher frequencies of light. So these, you know, higher beings, these golden children, helping really to purge the collective of victim consciousness and human suffering. They're essentially here. These golden children are really here to help us with the idea of being fearless, the idea of having no separation. So the golden children also, like the diamond children, are capable of having these very deep conversations. They oftentimes are going to be born into situations that are very maybe difficult or dark, and somewhat maybe kind of traumatic. But the reason sometimes that they will be born into those situations is that they are able to bring forth the human spirit and kind of champion the human suffering and the victim consciousness, and still come out on the bright side, still come out on the good side of life, and bring about that higher joy, that higher energy. So it is, again, each of these different beings are bringing in downloads onto the planet, and they are each working with a different frequency of light that correlates again to the different tribes of light and their particular, these different galactic councils that have these different goals in mind, that want to create flames and stuff. And again, so it's not everybody born in that era. It's a group of selective souls, which we've talked about before, who either have empathy, high empathy, and special traits, which are included of telekinesis and clairvoyance and telepathy, and you know, these higher beings that are almost, the golden children are transcendent. They're already transcendent of the human suffering on this planet. And even though they might be born into it, or they might be exposed to it, they're able to laugh through it. They're able to bring joy to it. They're able to bring not only love, but like a high frequency Christ light or divine love, radiant love. And the golden children are really the ones that are going to help make this big leap between conditional love, which is the three triangle of like, oh, I'm going to go be a healer and heal you, and then you're not going to like how I heal you, so then I'm going to feel victimized by you, and because you thought I was your perpetrator, even though I was just trying to heal you. So it breaks up all the conditional love. So when it starts to break up the conditional love, the golden children are probably at this point the newest earth souls coming on, that are literally being born with unconditional love consciousness, even in the face of suffering. And that is magnificent to me. I just think that's amazing, because for most of us, we have to process through it, take a journey, do a whole bunch of healing work around it. Maybe we forgive, maybe we don't, I don't know. We got all this other stuff going on. But the golden children that are coming in, the Gen Zs, are coming in with it already built in. So just like the baby boomers, the hippies came in built in with this frequency of love, and the Gen Xers came in with the indigo ray and the indigo aura of the change they were going to make. And the crystal children came in with the fractures of crystal light and all the clairvoyant energy. And the millennials came in with their rainbow frequencies and diamond frequencies of light and consciousness. And then the Gen Zs come in with this golden light. We've all been downloaded. I mean, I guarantee you wouldn't be on this call if you did not fit into one of those categories. And more than likely your children, if you have children, are in one of those categories, because you're the perfect sort of chalice for these new souls coming in, right? So, but with the golden children, we're already being invited, and you can see it because I'd say really as we've been kind of wrapping up 2019, towards the end of the 2000, coming into 2020, that there is more and more books being written on unconditional love, and let's move to this higher phase. And that's because all these children, it's sort of like the 100th monkey, that the more of these golden children are sort of seeded, because essentially any of these beings are seeds on a planet. So the indigo children, crystal rainbow, golden children, diamond children, we're all seeds on the planet growing new consciousness. And it kind of creates a like a collective mass, like it just a mass of energy finally just turns the corner. And so right now, living in the unconditional love and that frequency of being fearless on the planet, because the golden children are really helping us to realize it's all an illusion. This pain, suffering game that we play, it's all an illusion. And they just bring in the higher frequency of joy, the higher frequency of this divine, higher cosmic love. And that's what we're moving into. And it's only going to get stronger and stronger. So say what you want about politics, say what you want about religion, say what you want about global climate change. There's all these things that create this tremendous stress and struggle for us. But I can promise you that with the momentum we've got going and these golden children that are coming in now, there is nothing but unconditional love. There's nothing but seeing through the illusion of separation. So when you get a lot of political strife, which requires opposites, so you get a lot of religious wars, which create opposites, if you get a lot of fighting over global climate change, all these polarities are to a point where they are beginning to, I think that they have gotten very polarized, but it's all that happens in the universe, it happens constantly, is that once we get to the furthest realm of polarization, which we're doing a pretty good job right now, it just collapses in on itself. And we come back to oneness again. And the golden children are here to kind of help us have the consciousness to do that, which we're going to need as these newer sciences and these new ways of spirituality and these new ways of getting along and cooperating on the planet through these higher frequencies of light, and seeing through the illusions of pain and suffering and opposites and separation. There is no separation. And so that is, yeah, all hail the golden children. Totally right. I'm like so into this. So, so they are here to really help us make that jump in consciousness so that we can do this gracefully. And so to me, it's just a done deal. It's just a matter of time, no matter how bad things might appear, in the present moment, looking at the planet and all, it will realign. And again, the Greta Thunberg, actually, she might be young enough, honestly, to be more as a golden child. She definitely has that go deep and go dark scenario, but the golden children do the same thing. But at the end of the day, they remind us that it's all just an illusion. There is only one. There's only one. The law of one. That's all it comes down to. So we might as well all get on board with that and stop fighting with each other. So, I wanted to kind of open up for a moment as we're calling into these different beings, these different beings of light, and noticing which category you might fit into personally. And if you have children or as well, notice the caliber of their energy, their consciousness. And we just want to call in for a moment, just reaching out to the spiritual hierarchy and the galactic councils, the downloads of these different rays, the indigo, violet rays, the rainbow rays and crystal rays, diamond rays, golden rays, rays of divine love. And just watching how beautiful this is on the planet, like going into the earth consciousness and how each of us, as we're just honoring this, have come forth to be of service. We have come forth as a seed on this planet to actually seed this consciousness on the planet at whatever perfect age we are. Like we have come in perfect alignment to our soul's life purpose, who we are, what we're capable of, what our soul gifts and our special traits are. And just acknowledging that you are on perfect time. You are beautiful and perfect just in the uniqueness of your consciousness, that you're not alone. Now, there are these whole, a whole group of each of us all contributing. Calling into governing us tonight is the energy of Saint Germain overlighting us, who's been blessing each of these different generations for that higher cosmic ray of light, that new earth, new soul energy coming onto the planet. And so coming in tonight, what I want to welcome in is coming in with these golden children, because that's probably the newest energy coming in as we've sort of gone through that 100-year span of the 1920s to the 2020s, the 2020. And it's a new angelic frequency. And so noticing and just inviting into your heart these new angelic beings that are coming in of a very high light energy, these golden angels of light coming in with these cosmic frequencies, blessing our collective consciousness, riding in, coming in through these golden children, blessing this new earth energy that we've been building and creating, each of us in our own unique way. And calling in these golden angels of light, the beloved presence of Saint Germain, Lord Mahakohan, the great divine director, who allows these frequencies in, who opens up the door for these floods of light to come in. So the great divine director really helps to allow the frequencies onto the planet in its right timing, in its right way, its right alignment. And this great transmutation that's happening to our reptilian brain, to the laggards, to the greed, to the war, to the poverty, the pestilence. Great transformation is occurring. And you can imagine anytime somebody feels kind of cornered, they're going to want to fight for their life. It's going to get louder. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. And so again, these golden children coming in are creating an aptitude. It feels like literally changing the brain chemistry, the chemistry within the consciousness of our mental body, higher mental body, to go into the law of one, to go into the unconditional love, to go into higher consciousness, higher frequencies, higher dimensions, that the golden children are able to really carry us into the 8th dimension easily, right? And we've all been building in these dimensional consciousness on the planet, but the golden children feels like they're initiating us into 8th and higher dimensional realms. And so right now, I'm just calling forth to the golden children on the planet, that collective energy, because we can tap into it. And these golden cosmic angels of light, these new frequencies of angels that are new to our planet. And as we tap into this consciousness, allowing it to start aligning our brain frequency, our DNA, our cellular structure, our matrix of energy, to this new frequency, to make it an easy and effortless adjustment as we're moving into these new rays of light on the planet. Because, the rainbow children, what they were known for is creating a rainbow bridge into the new world. You see, so we've already got so much built already towards this. And so feeling your consciousness open up to the 8th dimensions and higher. That's almost like operating at the 8th chakra and higher. And just living in this realm all the time. And realizing there is no separation. There's only the law of one. And any darkness, any shadow, we're able to meet it, greet it, welcome it, integrate it, because it is an illusion at the end of the day. There is only ever this higher divine love. And wouldn't that be kind of the end all of human consciousness, is to remember that? I mean, hasn't that really been the whole point of human consciousness through all this time and struggle and strife and learning and growing and inventions and whatever we've done, is to come to that one point of realization. And when humanity reaches that point of realization, which we are now literally bringing onto the planet with the golden children, is that we have reached our apex. We have reached our evolution of what the human root race was designed to create on the planet, to add to the layers of the earth. This is that level of consciousness, right? And instead of having to annihilate ourselves like other root races before us, we're being given an opportunity to merge with technology. But think of it in terms of spiritual technology. Not, I mean, there is going to be earth technology, but I really am meaning more spiritual technology and a higher vibration of consciousness than we've ever had on the planet, that is that we're going to have the opportunity to experience. Like, it's only going to get stronger and stronger actually very quickly. And so as you're tuning your brain frequency to the 8th dimension, the 8th chakra, the higher dimensions, the higher chakras, this golden light frequency, that whether you're a golden child or not, you can tap into it and start aligning with it. Because you'll notice that each generation has built on the one before. And so just like the golden children were being built on the rainbow frequencies, the diamond frequencies, the crystal frequencies, the indigo frequencies, the hippie, the love frequencies, it can go in the other direction too. That there is no time and space in these realms. So think of it in terms of quantum physics, that just like I wouldn't be stuck as just a limitation of an indigo child. Instead, I can, because I'm riding on that same frequency, can go all the way to the golden age, the golden children, which is so awesome, because I'm a big believer that we're coming into a golden age. And it, and so these golden children are literally ushering in these new souls that are coming in, are literally ushering in the golden age, like a Shambhala type experience, right, for the planet. And all we have to do is make the choice for it. So, so again, on the spectrum, they're building on our frequencies, and we, still in human form, can build on their frequencies as well, creating this beautiful kind of like tapestry of light where we're all coming together and growing with one another. It's really pretty neat. So I don't want you to feel limited or left behind or FOMO, fear of missing out on some level. just because these new beings are coming in, we can ride on their frequencies as well, just like they rode on our frequencies. Isn't that cool? It's like a little trapeze thing. So just opening up your heart and allowing that all these generations of all these seated lights coming in, joining together, being blessed by each, like for instance, the each of these different generations have different access to frequencies, downloads, angels, star beings, like a lot of it is considered star seeds, star transmissions, galactic downloads. Now we're dealing with cosmic downloads. And just feeling the frequency of that light, all evolving us, enlightening us, raising our vibration. And all you have to do is say yes. You're consciously aware of it. It's super exciting that we are all now moving into this golden age. Giving thanks that this is done, and so it is. Okay, and so these golden light angels are coming directly in right now through the pineal gland. So they are igniting and kind of clearing the pineal gland. If there's a lot of fluoride in your water, and that can calcify the pineal gland. MSG, if you're eating foods with MSG, it calcifies the pineal gland. Different chemicals, chemtrails, there's just all kinds of stuff actually can calcify the pineal gland. But the pineal gland is like the eye that looks upward, like the third eye. It's the eye that looks upward to actually receive these higher frequencies, right? And so these golden light angels, one of the things that they're going to be working on with this on, and you might feel a little bit spacey, sometimes a little bit dizzy when this happens, but they're wanting to help us with a type of enlightenment that requires the pineal gland to be elevated emotions, bliss, joy. You see, because the golden children carry the joy frequency, which would be happiness, joy, transcendence, gratitude, bliss. These are higher elevated emotions, and the golden children already carry those built within them. But elevated emotions happen when the pineal gland is activated. And so right now, how they're helping us as these star seeds that have come in previously, that have already been exposed to certain things in our environment, radiations and things like that, they're helping to clear the calcification off of the pineal gland. And then that's going to help your entire endocrine system start to fine tune so that your clairvoyant gifts, your telepathic, telekinesis, like all the gifts that I listed that were signature to these different generations, that they will be upgraded in you. So let's say I'm an indigo child and a starseed coming in on that way. Then what's happening is that my endocrine system will be integrated and expanded and fine-tuned to maybe some of the other clairvoyance or some of the other gifts that come naturally to some of the other future generations, all the way up to the golden child, right? So wherever we're at in our spectrum, we're being upgraded. And so you might start to notice that your clarity, your special traits, your higher empathy, intuition are going to become stronger in the energy. And it's just so much fun. I'm just like so excited about this. And the pineal gland will be cleared, upgraded, fine-tuned, including all the intuitional gifts which the endocrine system and the nervous system have to be upgraded for as well, so that you're playing at this much higher level automatically. You might have come in here, but you're being upgraded to here now, simply because we're choosing to. Because in the law of one, we can. Everything's possible, and that's kind of the whole thing about the golden children is, why not? Why not do that? So it's an invitation, and I'm for sure saying yes to that. It's just, like I said, so exciting. So all right, so we're kind of coming to a close, and So that's the gift that they're bringing us, is these new golden light angels coming onto the planet, clearing out the pineal gland, upgrading all of our systems, and helping us to get more into that 8th dimensional realm of energy, and then moving on into the higher dimensions and being a carrier for that. Yeah. So they're complete, actually. That's all the information that's coming forth now. So we are good to go for the evening. So thank you so much in participating in this this conversation with all of us tonight, and what's being delivered, and the gift that came along with all this energy. And thank you so much for being a star seed of whatever generation you are. Thank you so much. I mean, it's just like deeply touching that we've all come in and we've like played this role, whatever it is, and just seeing the major difference that each of us have contributed. It's just immense gratitude. All right. Well, love you guys so much, and we will see you soon.